since we're approaching the early season, start here September 1st for us in Nebraska, we'll talk about some early season bow hunting mistakes. And this is an article that I believe the author wrote down what he thought were what mistakes people make during the early season. I thought we'd talk about them, see if we thought they were actually mistakes, and just kind of go from there. So, hunting mornings, he thought was a mistake in the early season.
No, completely false. I would completely disagree with that. I'd be interested to see why he said it was a mistake if you have that, but no, I would completely disagree. I think it depends on how you hunt it. If you don't hunt it wisely, or you're sitting on a food source and you're bumping the deer every time you go in the mornings. But if you're set up on beds and you have the intel to tell you mornings is the time to be there, then yeah not hunting.
Your wish is granted. He said too much pressure and a low probability of a buck on his feet during daylight was why you shouldn't hunt mornings. I don't have written down where this article was from, so I can't send anybody to go read it or see who it was. But
just based off our experience hunting mornings in the early season, I'd say that's false. And I hunted with some of the best in THP and hunted mornings all the time with guys that definitely know what they're doing, and mornings didn't slow them down one bit.
I mean, the thing I've seen here, it can be 65, 70 degrees in the morning in September, and it's going to be 85, 90 in the evenings. So it's cooler in the mornings. Mm-hmm. Doesn't it make more sense for the, typically if it's cooler, deer, animals in general are on the move more than they are when it's hot. To me, it would make sense that he's on his feet longer in the mornings than he is in the evenings.
When it's cooler.
And we just got trail camera pictures of some really nice bucks at 9:57 in the morning moving around. It gets light here at 6:15 in the morning right now. So he's
3 hours, 3.5 hours after daylight, he's still on his feet.
He's still up and moving around, but that's closer to where he's going to bed. So like you said, it depends on where you're hunting. If you're hunting a food plot and you're going to be bumping them and you're not going to be close to the bedding, they're going to be gone. You're probably not going to see very much. But outside of that, I don't see why hunting mornings is why he's not going to be on his feet. Why wouldn't he be on his feet?
Yeah, he's still there somewhere. Like, that buck's still there. If he's on your property, just give him that buck is on your property somewhere. He's still there. Like, just because it's morning doesn't mean he disappears or he's in bed already before the sun comes up.
Yep, and if you do it appropriately and you're not pressuring too much, hunting mornings I think is perfectly fine. We sat over the river in September. I don't know if he's considering early season hunting. But there's deer crossing that river like crazy in the mornings, coming back from food, going to bedding.
Yeah, and I think it's a hunting strategy thing too. Maybe he hunts in a way that he doesn't see a lot or doesn't pay off just based off the way he's hunting. But then, our hunting strategy of being mobile and moving around and the whole buck bed thing changes our strategies a little bit, in that we're seeing them too. So it's a strategy thing depending on how you like to hunt.
Moving on to the second one now, he said it's a mistake to forget about the bugs. I would agree.
Yes.
So that is an actual mistake. So you'll just move around too much. If there's gnats, we get gnats and flies and mosquitoes. It just depends on the year, but usually there's mosquitoes or those little gnats are the worst around here. I know if you go south, obviously it gets worse and worse. We use thermocells and they're great, but forgetting to bring the thermocell is definitely a mistake.
Yes.
So not too much there to talk about that one. That one's pretty obvious. That's a big mistake. So forgetting scent control was the next one. I have yes and no, because if you play the wind like you should, thinking about where the deer's coming from, where your stand is, how you're getting in, you shouldn't need scent control. But simply the scent eliminating spray, which we don't really use, if a deer gets downwind of you, it might help. So it's kind of for us, it doesn't really matter. They're going to smell you anyways, even if you have it or not.
Yeah, it's more if you're playing the wind in with scent control, yes. Like you said, like if you're paying attention to where your wind's blowing, which you should always be doing, whether it's early season or middle of December. But yeah, scent control as far as products, we don't use them. We just try to play the wind. I mean, it might help you, but their noses are so good. If he gets downwind of you or even crosses your trail, he's probably going to smell you.
Yeah, so I think it's more forgetting to play the wind is a mistake more than forgetting scent control.
Yeah.
And I think he went through, he had this whole big thing where scent eliminating soap, even not in the season, he used in this whole big scent control, regimen. But like I said, if you play the wind and you're downwind of him and he's not downwind of you, doesn't matter what scent control you're using. Moving on now, didn't shoot enough at the range or didn't shoot your bow enough before the season, which I think is definitely a mistake. We don't shoot, admittedly, as much as we should, and we are. I thought this the other day. We're shooting more now because we have some really nice bucks on camera, So we want to be prepared, but we should have done that every year because you never know what buck is going to walk in front of you.
Yeah.
But we don't shoot enough in the off season. We're doing it more now, and I'm seeing myself be a better shot. But definitely a mistake not to shoot enough before season.
Yeah, definitely practice and just being confident in your equipment and what you know you can do, so that I think it makes things calmer in that moment of truth when you're confident in your equipment and your ability to do it.
Yep, so definitely a mistake on that one. Don't disagree on that one. And didn't preseason scout. If you think that is a mistake or not. I'd say yes and no, because I don't think you necessarily have to, but it will definitely help you if you do it. So it's definitely a mistake for us, I would say. We would say it's a mistake not to preseason scout, but I don't think you would necessarily have to.
No, I think it's, it lends it to being good for us because that's our strategies and that's how we kind of play off and do different things, is the scouting and the stuff that we've seen. But like the one place, our Southern Public Land Unit, we've hunted it multiple times, so we didn't even scout it at all because we know the places that we're going to go. It's small enough. We know the places we're going to go. We know the lay of the land. We know where to start and how to make quick moves from there. But new properties, we were scouting this winter and this spring, trail cameras and velvet scouting and doing all the preseason scouting things.
Yeah, we haven't even been to the one we've been hunting the last 3 or 4 years just because, like you said, we know it so well. We know where we're going to go if we do go there. So in that case, we didn't need the preseason scouting. But like you said, new properties for sure, if you don't preseason scout, definitely going to hurt you. And I think it just gives you a better starting point. You're going to get to that end result where you need to be faster if you do the preseason scouting. If you don't, you might get there. It's going to take you longer.
Yeah, you'll find out the preseason scouting things during the season. But there's nothing wrong with that. Like you said, it just might get you there quicker if you do it.
The next one, and I want to see what you think on this. This was his statement. He said, a mistake because you hunted over a food source. And so this is the quote, bucks will be last to enter the field. Most of it occurs after dark. And there's a specific scenario I'm thinking of that happened to us that I'm wondering if you're thinking why that statement isn't true, at least for us.
Yeah, I mean, every buck is different. Every property is different. Every night is different. I mean, I just seen that meme thing from QDMA or whatever that said, asking if the buck was going to be there on opening day, and then he's not going to show up opening day, but he was there all summer long, so it's kind of similar to that. But I mean, we just velvet scouted, and the first deer into the field were 3 bucks and a doe, and they all came together during daylight with 2 hours left. But then I've been in places, and it's all does, and the bucks are coming out right at last light.
Literally 10 minutes before last light.
I think it's a pressure thing and a property thing, and it's kind of the preseason scouting or velvet scouting lends itself to like this bachelor group of bucks, or a bachelor group of bucks is always coming out pretty early, or they're not coming out early, and we need to move farther back too. Yeah,
like you said, it goes back to scouting. So I don't think you can make that an absolute statement that most of bucks movement occurs at night. And most of it probably is going to occur at night because there's only a 2-hour window where they like to move in the evening and the morning. Otherwise, there's 8 hours of darkness. So yes, they're going to move more at night, and you can't hunt at night. So yeah, but it goes back to scouting where you have to scout your specific areas because, like you said, we've seen bucks beat the does to soybeans this year, and we've seen it the other way around where it's typical does, little bucks, big bucks, you're seeing them 15 minutes before you got to pack up and leave. So it all goes back to scouting. I don't think you can say that bucks will always be the last to enter the field.
And a public land's a pressure thing. I mean, the one Southern Public Land Unit where we've seen that steady progression of does, smaller bucks, big bucks, is in a place that's highly pressured, where the places we're going now we don't think are as highly pressured, and they're a little bit more just kind of back there away from everything. And that's when you're seeing just deer come out when they're comfortable.
Yep. Moving on, now to the final one is checking your trail cameras too often. And I would say that is a mistake. And it's something that I and we try to limit. I want to check them all the time. Sometimes we check them in the past, I know more than we should. This year, if we're getting the info, we're going to check them at least once because we want to have, like I told Brady the other day,
some information.
The most recent information we can get to make a decision. Otherwise, I think you're guessing more than you are, making an informed decision. But once we've checked them once now, and we know there's deer there or there's bucks there we want to go after, we can game plan. We might do some velvet scouting if the area lends itself to it, but then we're not checking them again. So I think that's our process, and I like how that's worked for us this year anyways. Yeah. Not checking them every 2 weeks. If we find what we need, we're not going back. The one property we just velvet scouted, seen bucks, we haven't even checked that camera, and we don't even care to check it. We know what we need to know, so we won't even go check it.
I think that's the big thing is what information are you looking to gain from that trail camera? Are you looking to track the same buck and see how many times he's coming past? Or are you looking just to see if there's bucks in the area? Is there a shooter buck in the area? Because if you're looking to see if there's a shooter buck in the area, you might have to go back more to check it to see if there's somebody there. If you're just looking to see if there's deer there, maybe your preseason scouting gave you that information, or a quick velvet scout or a drive in the evening pass there gives you that information. Doesn't mean you can't put the trail camera up there, but you can probably, check it less. Like you said, with that property, we wanted to know if there was bucks in the area. We saw 4 of them come out to a bean field. There's no reason for us to keep trampling around in there, going back to that trail camera, when what we wanted to know is were there bucks in the area? There were, and that's what we were trying to gain from the trail cameras in the first place.
Yeah, and I think in the past we have checked them too much. It's hard. You'll never know if it helped you or hurt you, but I think now we've realized we got our system down that works for us as far as how we want to use them, and that's what we've used, and I think it's definitely helped us.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for watching this clip of the Out Here Show. There's plenty more of these clips and the full show over on the Out Here channel. Link is below. Head over there. Make sure to like and subscribe on that channel, as well as this Whitetail Instinct channel. Thanks for watching, and check out the Out Here Show.